Hi, my name is Ilma and welcome to my channel. I've been posting Christian vlogs 12 straight years every day. Today I'd like to share Exodus 16 verses 31 to 36. Here's the word of God. Now, the house of Israel called this name Manna. It was like a coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer of it be kept throughout your generations, so that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept throughout your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept." The people of Israel ate the manna 40 years till they came to a habitable land. They ate the manna till they came to the border of the land of Canaan. An omer is the 10th part of an ephah. Exodus 16:31 to 36. Here's the poem I wrote inspired by those verses. The Lord faithfully provided by his people in the wilderness with manna. It nourished them all those times until they arrived in Canaan. God wanted them to remember this provision of the manna. They were to pass on this memory to the generations to come. Here's my commentary. During those 40 years in the wilderness, the Lord provided the Israelites with bread from heaven called manna. They didn't go hungry for 4 decades, and God was faithful to provide for their needs. Can you imagine being one of the Israelites eating that bread day in and day out for 40 years? Would they have died from hunger if this manna wasn't provided for them? They would have died and not survived all those 40 years. I think God wanted them to remember that without His grace and provision, they would have died. The Lord wants them to remember the giver of this manna, their covenant God. At the beginning, it was probably a novelty for them to be provided with bread to eat daily, but later on, it must have been tiring to have the same thing over and over again for 40 years. And because they are humans, they will eventually grumble when their needs and cravings are not satisfied. Reflection. How can we prevent taking for granted what we were provided for by God? If we constantly thank God for every little or big thing that we have, it is not going to be an avenue for grumbling, because grumbling is when we don't count our blessings. We take for granted the blessings if we don't appreciate what we have, and we constantly think of what we don't have and desire what we don't have, then we will grumble. In a way, like, I'm sure that the manna was eaten just probably one way, but God has given us creativity, and we can always create something out of a simple thing. So I would think that they would have come up with different ways of using the manna for their nourishment as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ilmaarts.com for artworks, photographs, and a copy of this blog. If you haven't checked over 3,000 videos I've made through the years, just type on Google or YouTube search Ilma's Poem Devotional. Have a wonderful day.